Hey guys, how you doing? It's Barstool RGT here with Barstool Banks for the BarstoolDMV Baltimore podcast, episode number 6. What's going on, Banks? How you doing?
Doing okay. Just had a heart attack of a basketball game there with the Terps, but we made it through. We survived. It's real rough. Just watching probably 35 minutes of Maryland's worst basketball, but the 5 or so minutes at the end and the beginning of the second half were, I guess, it was enough to beat a shitty Penn State team. So many thanks up to Diamond Stone for showing up, and then some, if you will. And just shame on everyone else. Just trash. It was just not good.
Yeah. Like you said, Diamond Stone didn't show up. He put the entire team on his back and had one of the most dominating, I guess you would say, dominating games in Maryland history.
For sure,
I mean, he killed it.
it was the best game I've seen since Scrivs Vasquez and against UNC. I would say one individual effort just carrying a team to victory. It was just it was good to see Diamond Stone do everything that he's was lauded to be able to do, and then some. I knew that he was progressing the last few weeks, but to see the way him just explode in a big game like that was just incredible. Like 39 points and something like 13 or 14 rebounds, and he got to the line. He shot 25 free throws. It's unbelievable. So
Yeah, I think he
it's
made seven. I think he made 17 of the 25 too, which
it's
for a big man that's fantastic for
yeah,
anyone that's
for
really good.
sure. Yeah, you can't pour it on with a bunch of threes. You gotta really work for those points. So, um, just for us to win a game and have Layman and Nickens combined for 1 of 10 from three, especially when the first three that Layman shot of the game he made, and then they both were 0 for 9 after that. Melo was 2 of 7 from three. So between the three of them, there are 3-point shooters. Them, and Suleiman, who was kind of a ghost on the offensive end. They went 3 of 17 from three. You don't expect to win many games with that going on. And in the early going, they've those guys have been making their shots, and that's the reason why we're a top 5 team in the country. So for us to win a game and not even have Robert Carter Jr. be the guy to step up, it's exciting to think about the potential of what could be with Diamond Stone playing even half as well as he did tonight, and have the other guys play up to their normal selves, their normal potential. To have that rotation of guys playing well, that's national title material. So
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like I said, Stone in the second half was, I think he scored one less point than Penn State did the entire second half. So he literally kept them in the game and he was the spark plug that got him going. Normally it's Melo. He didn't take some bad shots. It seemed like he was forcing a lot of shots. He was
he's 3 of
driving,
15 from the field.
yeah, wasn't getting any foul calls. I'm not sure. I don't think he went to the line at all.
No, he
Um,
just wasn't himself. He did distribute well, especially to Stone a little bit, but not by far his worst performance of the year, I'd say.
I
So
think you could collectively say it was every starter except for Robert their probably worst game of the year. And who knows about if this was Lehman's worst game? He always looks bad. But Stone to have 39 and 12 off the bench, those are absolute video game numbers that you don't expect a fourth year senior, let alone a true freshman, to come off in his first conference game. And put it up. And it was Penn State. They're not playing a Michigan State or anyone like that. But I mean, a conference game's a conference game, and a win's a win, and I'll take that. But it was great to see Stone put up those points and this effort out of him. But sorry, if they're gonna, you can't expect 39 and 12 from Diamond every night. So the other guys will step up. We know that. We've seen it before. We know it was scary. It wasn't it wasn't the walkthrough that everyone thought it was going to be, but they escaped with a win.
yeah, if they had lost that game, it would have been a real black eye on the resume. Usually, if you want to be a 1 seed, you got to lose like only 3 or 4 games, so that a loss like that would have not only contributed to that number, but usually those losses by those by those 1 seeds, again, those 3 or 4 losses are usually against mid tier of their conference teams, and Penn State is not that at all. They are probably the second worst team in the Big Ten. Rutgers is definitely the worst. So it's inexcusable to even be down by 7 at the half like they were, or down by, I think it was even 13 at one point in the second half. So it's inexcusable. I hope they learn from it some. Like, I know it was a winter break game, and those games can be hard to get up for. But it's conference basketball. It's the first conference game of the season. You played a bunch of scrubs. It's been probably 3 or 4 weeks since they played UConn. So they should have been licking their chops to play a game that had some substance to it. And it looked like Diamond Stone was the only guy who came out really fired up and ready to roll. So in that sense, it's very discouraging.
Yeah, I mean, they played Marshall. I think it was Sunday. And Marshall was kind of sticking around. They weren't ever really a threat. But then at the end, Maryland ended up just pulling away and kind of just walking all over them like they should have in this game. And I don't know if like you said, it's the first conference game. It's a 5:00 start on a Wednesday. Right before New Year's Eve. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but like you said, it really seemed like Diamond was the only guy that wanted to show up, and that actually did show up. Like I said, I don't think they got nothing out of Nickens. I think they got 1 point from Suleiman. You mentioned what they got from Mello, but I guess we're glad that we had Diamond, and that he had probably the best basketball game of his life, to this point.
For sure. So you just got to try to learn from it and move on to the next one. They've got Northwestern on Saturday at 8. So Northwestern's a pesky team. They've got a couple sophomores that had good freshman year that are taking another step forward, and it's a home game for them. So I wouldn't be shocked if they really give us a tough contest and maybe even beat us. I just hope that the fellas have learned from this, or it might not even be a learning type thing. It might just be like sometimes you just don't hit shots, and we just happen to, as a collective team, just miss a shit ton of shots, especially from deep. So, other than Diamond Stone, they shot 21% from the field. I mean, that's insane. They were like 9 of 42, and Stone was 10 of 15. You can't. That's never going to happen again the rest of the season. Like, those guys just aren't going to shoot like that. But I think we've got an idea now of where the basement of this team is, at least when they're healthy. So.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we can't expect them to shoot this bad again. Like they shot pretty bad against that first half against Georgetown, but I can't foresee another game where they just go completely ice cold like that. I think they started off the first half 3 of 6, and then they went 3 of 18 the rest of the way, and that's just, I mean, I don't know. Turgeon will I feel like he'll get them ready for the Northwestern game, and they'll kind of just go from there. I think they have Rutgers after that, and then they got some of the big dogs coming up. So I think now they know. Hopefully this is kind of a wake-up call where they say, hey, we easily could have lost tonight to a team that shouldn't have even been in the gym with them. Hopefully it's kind of like I said, it's a wake-up call, and they'll get their shit together, and they can keep running these off, because they got a good opportunity to jump in the standings, especially with Michigan State losing the other night. So if they want to stick around, top 5, top 3 team all year, I mean, you got to win these games, these conference games at home, and then take care of the games on the road that you're supposed to. So.
Yep, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So we got we had the Terps basketball. We'll move on to Ravens football. They had a pretty big game Sunday. It was the second Steeler game of the year, and I didn't think they were going to show up. I don't think you thought they were going to show up. I don't think Baltimore thought they were going to show up, and it was in that typical Ravens Steelers fashion. It was a great game. Ravens pulled it out 2017, knocked them out of the playoffs for right now. They could still move back in, but yeah, exciting game, hard-hitting game. Had some big plays. You had the Jimmy Smith, thought it was what was it, 101 yard interception return that got called back.
It's just so silly. Like, I thought that flag was fake life when I saw that the flag was there, and even like when I saw the flag was on the far side of the field, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, how is so 2015 Ravens for that flag to be thrown, for it to be just a boneheaded penalty. And when that happened, I was like, well, shit, we're losing this football game for sure. Like, they're going to find a way to fuck this up. So, would have been 27-10 at that moment. Instead, it became 20-17, which ended up being the final score somehow. Like, we actually got a stop on a final drive, which we could have used in September a couple times, but I'll take it for sure against the Steelers to probably knock them out of the playoffs. That's pretty much a dream come true for this time of year for a team that's down the dumps. I've been just sleepwalking through the last couple weeks here. No excitement whatsoever, especially on these podcasts. I just have nothing good to talk about the Ravens. Like, I'm so lifeless. I just want to get it over with. And then they bring this, and I just want the season to go on forever now. I'm so excited. We got knocking the Steelers out of playoffs. We got a chance to kind of damage the Bengals up a little bit and make sure that they play on Wild Card Weekend, which historically they are very shitty at. Whether or not it's they're either going to play AJ McCarron on Wild Card Weekend, or they're going to rush back Andy Dalton, who has quite the reputation on Wild Card Weekend, which I love. I absolutely love. It's probably my favorite time-honored tradition in January, just watching Andy Dalton pee all over himself. And then we got Steve Smith coming back. That's great news. Like, I'm so excited about that. Like, it was probably foregone conclusion, but now it's set in stone. Like, he's announced it. Its season's not even over, but we can move forward knowing he's part of the picture. We know we got Kamar Aiken, who's taken a huge step forward. That's very exciting. And then Perriman's like a rookie all over again. Like, even though he only played one practice last year, it's still exciting to look, the Caps are scoring 1 million goals.
Yep.
And like, it's the rehab's going great for Flacco every week. Harbaugh gets up on the podium for his weekly press conference and gives an update. And the update is always exactly the same. It's Joe Flacco's on track to be back 100% contact for the regular season next year. Apparently he's riding a bike already, which is wild to me. A month ago he had the surgery. It was less than a month ago even, and he's already on a bike. So things are like, in this little tiny week here, this little this crummy week at work where we gotta sit at our stupid office jobs and make it to fucking New Year's. We're getting all this good news about the Ravens. We got to kind of, even though the Redskins fans are on cloud 9 right now, we're kind of like on our consolation prize cloud 9, if you will. I don't know. It's been a really good week to be a Ravens fan, given what this season has been. So
yeah, I mean, you guys had arguably the worst first 15 weeks, the worst 15 weeks in the Ravens' history, and then you go out and you knock out the Steelers on Sunday, and you got this Steve Smith news coming back, and it's almost like you guys just want to hit the reset button, and you just want to fast forward right now to September.
Yeah,
I'm football now.
It's such a tease. Like, the loss last year in the playoffs was so devastating, and I don't think that I fully realized the potential of that team until we kicked the Steelers' teeth in that first game, and then I knew we were going into New England, which we have a great history at, and I was like, we could very well win that football game. Now, the way that game went, I walked away from that season thinking, wow, like, this is another season where a couple things go our way. We could be looking at another Super Bowl. Like, that's just kind of, but that is the excitement that carries you from January to September. And then September happened this year, and it was just so devastating. It was so demoralizing to just not have this season pan out and have all these injuries and have all these bad breaks and all that stuff. These last couple weeks here have been just really good to just kind of re-inspire that hope. Like, even though it sucks that it's still 9 months away for next season, it's just like it's like a reminder of why you play. It's of why you're a fan and all that. So that stuff is very exciting. So 2 years in a row, Steelers bounced them pretty much.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's all. Yeah, I don't know. This Steve Smith news, like you were. Oh, sorry.
What's that?
No, yeah, like you were saying, the Steve Smith news, I mean, it was kind of, like you said, it was a foregone conclusion. That's what I thought. That's what I think everyone in Baltimore thought, that he was coming back. But now that it's official, I think that kind of pumps you guys up a little more. Yeah, like you said, Kamar Aiken, he's been I mean, he's been great since Steve Smith went out. 45 catches, over like 540 yards, a few touchdowns. So he's shown that he can be a number two. And then you guys find your backup in Ryan Mallett. It looks like he killed it on Sunday. I mean, he played pretty well. He slung that ball out there, 28 for 41, 274 and a touchdown. So he showed off that arm that we all knew he had. Now we just got to see if he can keep his head on straight and wake up on time with his alarm clock.
Yeah, he looked like a guy who was prepared. He looked like a guy who was playing with confidence, and everybody's known for a long time what his capabilities are, at least in terms of his physical attributes. So to see him hit the open guy and make smart throws and not put the ball in dangerous places and not turn the ball over, relative to Clausen and especially Schaub, it's a breath of fresh air, and hopefully we don't have to see him next year at all, but he looks like he's going to be the guy who will take over if Flacco gets banged up again. So not the worst thing in the world. Like I've said in the blog, like pretty much every preseason, I just like talk a whole bunch about the backup quarterback race and all that stuff, because Flacco's always been a sure thing to play every game, and now that it's actually a thing, my whole mantra has always been, we just need a guy who can hold the season together for 3 or 4 weeks if there's like a month-long injury for Joe, like an Andy Dalton type injury for the Bengals. We just need a guy who can go 500 and keep the season from falling apart, keep us in whatever race we might be in at any given time, and give the rest of the guys the opportunity to stay in games and win them. So Mallett looks like he's a way more capable guy than Schaub and Clausen, for sure. So that's encouraging. So I think that we're learning a lot of things about ourselves late. J.B. Smith, I played a great game the other day. He's really coming around these last few weeks, and I think his consistency or inconsistency was a huge factor this season, and I think he'll be more consistent next year. We got to revamp the secondary a whole bunch, but it's still, we've learned a lot, and Kamar Aiken is probably the biggest bright spot of the things we've learned. So, yeah, I mean, things are looking up. Like I said, I've been pessimistic. I've been just so down for a good 2 or 3 months now, and now things are looking up again. So I'm thinking about what could happen in the playoffs. I'm just like kind of dreaming all these pipe dreams. Hopefully the Patriots get knocked out by somebody like the Jets, or like Peyton Manning coming back and just devastating the Patriots' dreams. That'd be awesome. I'm excited about football again. Like it's been rough, but I'm inspired.
See, now you guys are you're going to have a top 10 pick most likely. I think it's pretty likely you guys will have one. And then plus, like you mentioned earlier, you add in Perryman, and that's basically you guys are adding 2 first-round picks next year.
Yeah, so it's great. And
Ozzie
picking in around 40th overall is almost like another first-round pick. That early second-round pick, we're used to picking in the late 20s, and now he's going to be picking only like 10 spots behind that. It's like 2.5 first-round picks. It's very exciting. It kind of reloads the talent a little bit. Like we're aging a little bit, especially like pass rushers and the secondary a little bit. So it'll be good. It'll be really good. So
now, do you have a certain position that you want them to attack in the draft? Do you think that they need a pass rusher? Suggs is getting up there in age. Who even knows if he's coming back next year? I've heard rumors that people thought he was going to retire. I don't think so. I know they were talking about that on 105.7. I thought there was no way.
No,
do they go after a secondary guy? I saw that they may take a lineman, even a linebacker, and then in top 10 somewhere like that. What do you think they need to go after?
See, Ozzie always does the best player available thing, but I think it's very clear that the team needs another starting cornerback, a guy who can play on the outside and really shut down a top receiver on the other side. I think Jimmy Smith is still and has shown to be capable of doing that. It's just like he has these weeks, he has these lapses, and I think for in his younger years he had Ed Reed to kind of cover him over top, and he had more competent safety play just in general, even after Ed retired. And now he's really just like the guy out there, and some games that works out well for him, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes he gets burned, and we need to get another guy on the other side who can complement him, and a safety would be great too. Like I said, like we really haven't filled that void. Will Hill's been good at times. Other times he's been kind of Some of that is, I think, it's a little bit scheme based, and hopefully we get Dean Pease the fuck out of town. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, but cornerback is the one position to really bear down on. I think I said last year going into the draft, like, pass rusher is not like a right now problem, but it's a looming problem, and I would like it if we were to take an outside linebacker and get after the quarterback. That'd be a good addition. I would be pretty pleased with it. I'd kind of be like, shit, like another year gone by and we didn't pick a corner. But sometimes that's just the way the draft falls to you. So, I mean, like, for example, Ed Reed was literally, like, they picked, I think, 24th that year. I think he was the 24th player on Ozzy's big board. Literally every player above Ed Reed got taken, and they were, like, kind of bummed about taking him. And that's just how the chips fell to him, and they ended up picking the best safety to ever play football. So,
yeah, I think that turned out all right for you guys.
It turned out just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I think if who's that cornerback from Florida, Hargraves, I think his name is.
Yeah,
and
that's the gem. That's the ideal draft pick. We'll see where we end up and where there's a lot of time between now and April, and combine always gets weird, and there's always a player who gets like a drug test thing, like Timmy Jernigan, that's like some fluke and everybody freaks out, and then he falls in the draft. So you never know who's going to go where at this point, but Hargraves has certainly got the talent. So
yeah,
Jalen Ramsey's another candidate. We'll see where he goes. So
yeah. All right, now real quick, I just thought about this. This guy's going to be a free agent safety, Eric Weddle. Would you want him to come to Baltimore? I know
Eric Weddle. I cannot stand Eric Weddle. Of course you do. Like, he's just so white. He's probably a snake guy. He just looks like white trash who has a bunch of snakes.
He could be.
Come on. You like Eric Weddle. You probably like Phil Rivers too.
No, I'm not a real big Rivers guy. I think Weddle. I think he's an absolute stud on the field. I love that's coming out of the helmet. I just think he kind of reminds. He's almost like a Jim Leonard. I feel like he would.
That's all smoke and mirrors. Like, everybody sees him fly around with his hair and his beard and all that stuff, and he flies around with reckless abandon. But he's really, like, not that actually good. Like, I mean, he's good, but he's not as much as he's made out to be, because he just has eyeballs on him all the time. It's like Troy Polamalu. Like, he's a poor man's Troy Polamalu. Polamalu is clearly a better player. He's a very good safety, obviously, but everybody overlooked his deficiencies because of the way that he flew around with his hair and all that bullshit. You could just get me started on Troy Polamalu, like, for weeks on end. He's my Derek Jeter of football.
Who, Polamalu?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right. So you don't? Is he an upgrade over Kendrick Lewis and Will Hill?
Won't do it. Nope, I don't think so. I think Will Hill is on par at least, and I like Will Hill. I just like the Will Hill the thrill. I just like it. I don't know. It's shenanigans in college and all that. I appreciate Will Hill.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I thought I'd throw that name out there. I heard them talking about it on the radio. I didn't know how hyped up you would be for it. Obviously, not that much.
No, I hate Eric Weddle so much. I hate the Chargers. I love what's his face though. Our good friend commenter. His shit cracks me up.
Oh yeah.
With diarrhea or whatever.
Yeah, diarrhea. Him and his Sierra Nevadas.
Yeah, that's a great shtick, and I haven't really checked the comments in a while to see if he still posts or anything, but that was prime commenting, I gotta say.
Yeah. No, I don't know where he's been, but diarrhea. Just know that we miss you, and
yeah, if you're out there, diarrhea, let us know. So.
Yeah. All right. Prediction for Sunday. You guys versus AJ McCarron and his sprained left wrist. What do you guys do?
It's gonna be a tight one. It's if you're a bet man, take the points. +9. I'm all over the points. I think we're just kind of fighting to the death here. We're really fired up to to go out there to Cincinnati. They have our number, but then again, AJ McCarron is not only AJ McCarron, but he's AJ McCarron with a busted up hand. Even though it's not the starting hand, it's come on. Like they have a lot of good pieces that will still probably end up beating us by a field goal, but like AJ Green will find a way to fuck us again. But then
He'll
again,
make some circus catch.
yeah,
like he
he'll make
always
some retarded catch, and it'll be the difference in the game, like it always is. But draft pick. You can't lose if you're the Ravens. Really, like I would like to see a win to kind of ensure them of that wild card spot or wild card weekend time slot, that 3 seed. But we'll see. I'm excited to see one last game this season, see what some of the guys got. We'll see. I'm excited to see one more game of Ryan Mallett too. Like that was pretty encouraging. So I think it's going to be.
Did Mallett and McCarron, did they ever face off in college? Arkansas, Alabama?
They had to.
I don't know if they.
I feel like that
overlapped.
timing is almost perfect. I think Mallett maybe came out a year or two before, but good question. I'm sure they did. I want to say Mallett was drafted in
I was going to say, I think it was 11.
11.
I was going to say, I feel like this would have been a great college game, Arkansas, Alabama.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll have to go back and look that
Real
up.
shame Terrence Cody ended up just being a real fuckboy and going to jail for scum.
He's a reptile man. He had an alligator.
He treated alligator like shit, did he not?
Yeah, probably did. Yeah. So yeah, good for him. For I think he's in jail or.
All I know is
he's
showed
getting
up
close to there.
And like.
All right.
It's ridiculous.
What was that hat?
I don't know. It's one of those Japanese cartoon characters that I don't know. It looks like a Goomba from Mario, but it's not my jurisdiction. I don't do the anime shit. So
yeah, what a guy. What a weird guy. All right. Yeah, that'll wrap up Ravens talk. We can talk about the Caps. I think the game now is official. I think they're now 28-6-2. I think they beat the Sabres tonight. I think that puts them over the Stars for the most points in the NHL. They've now won 9 in a row. I mean, they're killing it every part of the game. Holtby's going to win a bunch of trophies at the end of the year.
Yeah.
He's 24-4-1 now. Power play's clicking. That's second. Penalty kill is fourth in the league. Ovi had another goal tonight. That's 19. They have 8 guys with over 20 points. Everything's going right for them, and I don't want to jinx this, but it looks good. But there's still 40 games left, and I mean we've seen good Caps teams in the regular season before and how they fare in the playoffs. But is there something different about this team, or is this still too soon to tell?
I definitely think there's something different about them. It's that they play great two-way hockey, and they've given up the least goals in the NHL. It's the complete opposite of what those teams, at least since the Ovechkin era started, have been all about. Trotz has been a godsend in that he's found a way to implement those defensive systems, and we've gotten the lockdown goaltender that we've needed to really implement that system, but also maintain the offensive firepower that we've had for pretty much the last decade. So it's very exciting. I'm a little obviously gun shy about how good we are. Like I'm like concerned that we're too good, and that's just beaten wife syndrome or whatever you want to call it. But it's silly syndrome. To think like stop winning so much, stop being so good. You're gonna crush me again. Is like what I think at the back of my mind. But I feel like they're just winning games in every way imaginable. They're winning high scoring games. They're winning from behind. They're posting early leads and holding them down. They're like, we just started this podcast. They're down 2-1 going into the third period, and they scored a goal in the first 2 minutes, and then they scored another couple, and then I shut down the GameCast within like 10 minutes. They just I didn't even bother keeping the GameCast up for the last 10 minutes of the game. Knew the game was curtains. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's almost like I'm kind of stuck in this middle ground where do you want them to go on do you want them to lose a few games to kind of keep them grounded, Or this is like the unbeaten college basketball team the last few weeks of the season. Do you want them to lose so they can kind of get it out of the way, or do we want them to keep going with this?
See, like, that's the thing. I think we have the same exact mentality going, like, in our heads. We're like, stop being good. Like, what are you doing? But as that was coming out of your mouth and I was watching you say it, you sounded so stupid when you said it.
Yeah,
It's so ridiculous. Like,
because of course I don't want them to lose.
Games,
I don't.
like, let's go
I
lose
don't
some
want them
games.
to lose.
They're on pace.
But
I looked up, like, I think 132 points is the record. They're on pace for 132 points, right on the dot.
yeah, the other night I saw that they were on pace for like 129, and they just keep winning. They keep getting points every night. Every night they play, they get points.
It's crazy.
I mean,
They haven't lost on consecutive nights all season. They've won 9 straight. Hopi, I think, is 16-0-2, I think, in his last 18 starts or 18. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy how good this team is.
And like I said, I mean, Ovi's played well, but he's gone some stretches without scoring. Backstrom he wasn't healthy to start the year. He's obviously healthy now, but he left the game tonight. So did Beagle. So I don't know if that's something to keep an eye on. I know they play tomorrow too. But yeah, I mean, they're just playing so incredibly well. No one in the Metro is even close to them.
No one in the East. It's just the Stars and the Caps that are miles ahead of everyone. See, they have this little stretch coming up right now. They've got 3 out of 4. They just won the first of that tonight. But the next 2 and then the next 3 after that, so 5 in a row are all on the road, I think, in about a 10-day span. I think they hit Carolina. They hit I forget where the next one is. And then they hit the Islanders, Rangers, and Devils all in a row. So 5 games on the road. I feel like I think they've beaten all those teams already this season. And they're certainly battle tests and all that. They've shown that they can win on the road, but that's just a set of games where I think we could see a slide, because there will be a slide. That's just how sports are. There's fluctuations. So that's just kind of what I've picked out to see, and it's unfortunate we haven't played the Islanders yet. That's kind of a bummer, but that's going to be the first one. So
yeah, I think they've played the Penguins twice. I think they've played the Rangers. They played them last Sunday. They whooped up on them. Got Lundqvist out of there.
They lost them earlier in the season, I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember if they played them before that, but yeah, I mean they've played. I mean, like you were mentioning, they're winning games in all types of ways. Shutouts. They're running people over. They're knocking top goalies out. So
they're running their lines are so perfectly constructed right now, and they finally got Kuznetsov playing in that second center role. That's like what they were after every trade deadline, and that's what they would sometimes like try to mortgage some of their future for a couple of years with like guys like Ribeiro and
Erad when they got him.
Yeah, that was a devastating trade. And now he's that guy, and he's even like better than I'd hoped. If you saw the replay of the Ovechkin goal, it was a classic Kuznetsov circling behind the net and then throwing it, dishing it out.
They're going to become so good at that.
They're already
so much fun to watch.
Animals at it, and that's the thing. Like they're going to start taking that and building it into other things. Like teams are going to have to respect that play, and then Kuznetsov's going to start circling the net and finding someone and like a defenseman coming down in the slot or something.
Yeah, Carlson's going to be streaking open or something.
Yeah, so a lot of potential. I saw a report that they're looking at Mike Richards, maybe.
Yeah, I read that too.
I feel like the general consensus is they don't really need him, but there's not really a risk to taking him on. And if Backstrom is banged up here, I don't know, maybe it's an idea. So
yeah,
he's certainly got that playoff pedigree, so wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how bad it can hurt them, but I don't know. We'll see. Real quick, did you read that article, that Players Tribune article by Kuzi?
That was awesome. I did. It was
unbelievable.
It was a great. See, I don't know if he wrote that in English the way he did, or if they just like tried to really
translated it.
Maybe they translated Russian, or if maybe they just like had him write something and then they just like, how do we make the sound as genuine like broken English, like Russian, right? Like maybe he literally spoke it. And I feel like it sounded exactly like an Ovechkin like intermission interview from
Hmm.
2006 or something. Just
I was reading it last night, and I'm like giggling to myself because I can picture him saying this because
yeah.
he goes, I want to go home and I want to watch The Family Feud, and like, yeah, he's throwing in words that shouldn't be there, like, and I was trying to figure that out too, but I thought it was an awesome article how he talked about him and who was it, him and Semin used to give the security guard at the ice rink Coca-Cola so he would let him skate there at night and
hmm
shit like that. That was awesome. That was really cool. So it seemed like he genuinely loves Ovi too. And
Yeah.
I think Orpik too, he was talking about how
Yeah, yeah.
they call him father or whatever in Russian.
So I
So
think there's a lot of great chemistry in that locker room, and things are everything's going in the right direction with the Caps, and it's almost going too well. So
yeah.
we'll see if
Hey,
it
as long as they keep winning, I'm fine with it. So
yeah,
like I said, they got another one tonight. I think they play tomorrow.
they do. Carolina
Yeah.
at 6. So
All right.
kind of weird
We'll
it'll be
see.
in the second half of that first college football playoff game, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone's gonna have a nice little buzz on at that time. So I'm sure we'll be flipping back and forth.
Yeah, I gotta work, and I think I'm working a full day tomorrow. How ridiculous is that?
I think we got a full day too.
That's un-American. Come
I
on.
know. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of game casting in the queue. Or, we'll have a game cast up
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
probably
computer
just gonna
screen
slip
last
out.
hour.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll finish up with the Caps. Talk real quick about the Orioles. Still, nothing much has happened. They made some minor moves. They brought back Xavier Avery, baby. I
I
love
saw
that dude.
that. Yeah.
Big
Bring
good
back
old
the
X.
X.
Him and Paul Giannis. I think he got non-tendered earlier in the offseason. They decided to bring him back on a
hmm
minor league deal. And then I guess this surprised the hell out of me. Seeing the reports. I forget who tweeted it about. The Orioles. It said the Orioles and the White Sox were the leading contenders for Yoenis Cespedes. Now, right away, I like him. I want him, but in my mind, I said there's no way in hell. I said he's not coming here. They already said that they're not going to commit $100 million to a guy not named Chris Davis. So why is this coming up now? Like, I don't know what's going on. What do you think about that?
Um, I'm pretty much in a similar place where I think I'm like very conflicted. I personally am not a huge fan of the guy, but like I see the merit to him. Obviously, like, he's a good baseball player in his own right, but he has some attributes that we already have covered on the team, like just a free swinger and um, lack of plate discipline, doesn't get walks, doesn't get on base as well as some of the other power hitters around. So
So he'll fit in perfect with the Orioles.
he's so inconsistent. I mean, we saw the roller coaster ride with the Mets fans after they traded for him. He just lit the world on fire. He murdered the Nationals, which was awesome, and then he went
Mm-hmm.
ice cold and kind of just flamed out down the stretch for the Mets. So I I'm I would rather have somebody more consistent, or at least use that money on. But then, see, the flip side of that is, well, I know the Orioles aren't really going to throw money at anybody if it's not Chris Davis, and I would like them to throw money at somebody for once. So, am I really going to complain a whole bunch? Like, I don't know. It's very conflicting, my thoughts on it. So,
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, I don't. Yoenis doesn't seem like a guy that they would run out and break the bank for. I mean,
it just doesn't seem like the
I
Orioles.
get no,
See,
and
what they would
I
do
don't
is
know
they
if
would wait 5 years and have him be burnt out, and then he'd be the new Sammy Sosa or Vladimir Guerrero. That
he
would
would
be
get them. Yeah,
exactly how it would be.
like when they got Vladimir and Derek Lee and Sammy. Yeah, it
Derek
would
Lee, yeah,
be.
that too.
Yeah, he'd be on the end of his career. He could chain smoke cigarettes in the dugout and pimp his home runs any time he wanted. But he'd be 40 years old because who knows how old he really is. I think I read that he's 30 or 31, but
Yeah,
that
that's
dude's
true.
legit 30, 33 or
He's a
34.
good fit in right field with that arm, though. That's the one thing
Oh
that,
yeah,
in his benefit, like he's a good fit. We got left field kind of settled here with Kim. Jones ain't moving, and then like Cespedes kind of fits well into that spot. So yeah, I'm still
yeah.
stuck on Denard Span. That's my guy that I want in right field. Or I would take Parra back too. Like I've said before, I think he could. He's in between where he hit before the deadline and after the deadline is where his true talent is. Like, he's a good 260 hitter that gets on base and sees pitches, and I think he's a great defender. Like, I just think that he'd be a good fit in the lineup for the Orioles.
Now, I'm with Parra, and I'm so confused on why anytime Parra gets brought up, they say he wants 4 years, and the Orioles automatically say no, we're not going to give him 4 years. I don't know why. He's not old. I'm dumbfounded as to why they won't commit 4 years to a guy like that.
I don't think he deserves 4 years, though, to be honest.
Me neither. But still, 4 years. That's not. I don't think that's a deal breaker in my eyes.
You can't. Dan is Dan. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. It seemed the Scott Kazmir thing was frustrating today because he has this whole mantra about not doing opt-outs. You've got a 3-year, $48 million deal he signed with the Dodgers. A little hefty, I would say. $16 million is a little hefty, but it's not astronomical. It's only a 3-year commitment, and if it's a player opt-out, so 1 year, $16 million, like, I don't know, if you got a good year out of him and he felt good enough about opting out, like, he could get more on the market, then look at it as you just signed a guy for a year and $16 million, got a great year out of him. Like, I don't know. So
yeah, that kind of confused me too, especially with all offseason the Orioles had they quote been in on Scott Kazmir and they're interested in him, but they didn't want to give the 4th year, and then he goes ahead and he signs, and he doesn't get that 4th year. He gets he goes the 3-year. But like you said, the opt out. I mean, those you're seeing those in contracts all the time now. And what came out, I think, was this week or last week that Dan Duquette doesn't like the opt outs. They're not Orioles. They don't fit them, which doesn't look good because every contract now is good. It seems like it's going to have these opt outs.
Yeah,
Price has them. Kazmir. It's
a
the
price
new
of
thing.
doing negotiation. It's a part of the business now. So it's like, yeah, to go 3 years like he did and not at least throw him the bone of that opt out. I mean, maybe we don't know for sure that we didn't have the same exact offer on the table and he just decided to go with the Dodgers. Like, we can't just assume we might have even offered him more. But like, it is frustrating to see that the Dodgers they're a great team, so you can't really blame Kazmir for if he were to accept that hypothetical situation. But I don't know. I just want a pitcher to be signed, a competent one that we can depend on. But free agency is just tough. We can't develop them and we can't sign them, so we're just not going to have one.
Even if we have them in the minor league system, I mean, we had a lefty down there, Tim Berry, and he got scooped up on waivers by the Marlins. So they got no lefty right now. You saw that the Dodgers are now, if this is their rotation, have an all lefty rotation.
I missed that. No, that's wild.
Yeah, because they have Kershaw, Alex Wood. What's that with the Asian guy? Rinju or whatever. Absolutely butchering that name. Yeah, Anderson and Kazmir.
That's wild.
I think Rock was trying to do some research on it, and he said, as far as he can tell, it's the first time in history. So, are the Orioles going to have an already rotation? I mean,
it's looking a lot that way.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to re-sign Chen. They're not. Which I don't really want them to.
I did a good run through of the free agents left on the starting pitching market today.
I looked at the list. The names that not jumped out to me, but kind of, that I saw were Gallardo, who I think cost a draft pick.
Not worth it at all. Do not give up that draft pick. Even though we won't do anything good with it, but 14th overall ain't worth an above average pitcher.
Yeah, and then there was Ian Kennedy, Doug Fister, who's the guy that I know you and I have both been wanting him, and then a guy like Matt Latos, who I read could try and get a 1-year deal. That's like a perfect Dan Duquette dumpster diving situation. Yeah. Pick up a guy like Latos, let him do his year here, and then he can do whatever he wants next year, and we can do the song and dance next offseason with more starting pitchers in free agency.
I looked at Latos' numbers, and I think there's a thought out there that he's further removed from being a great pitcher than he actually is. Like 2015 was only his only down year. I think it's just because that he moved from like LA and Miami and did all that,
Mm-hmm.
and San Diego, did all those
Bounced a
three
little bit.
stops in 1 year and was trash in all those places. I think that there's a sentiment that he is broken, but you got to think about like he only spent 2 months at most at each spot. He didn't really get a chance to settle in. Maybe if we resign him and get him a good spring training here and get him healthy and get him going and bring his smoke show wife to town, like it could be a really good thing for the O's. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be like a perfect, maybe early mid January, early February signing. Like you said, head in, give him all the starts he can get in spring training, and we'll see what he can do. Plug him in at the back end of the rotation.
So Kennedy
You know,
Kennedy's a guy too that I've coveted for a while, but he also is tied with a draft pick, and he is
yeah.
like he's better than Gallardo in my opinion, but he's not worth a draft pick probably unless the contract is really good.
Now, do you
So
think do you think with Casimir coming off, are they gonna end up with a guy like Gallardo, or are they just gonna go over? And are we gonna see what we got with Mike Wright and how he developed and how Gossman and them developed?
I
Or do you
saw
think do you think they panic and make a shitty move and throw a bunch of money at a guy
I don't think
that they
they're
don't
going to
need,
do that.
or that they're gonna overpay?
I don't think they're going to overpay because eventually the Chris Davis thing is going to come to a head, and I think it's going to fall in our favor, and that's going to be where it's like a shit ton of that money goes. The way I see it playing out in terms of the pitchers, when I looked at that list, I saw in addition to those names that are somewhat, you know, low risk, high reward type guys who have had a good pass like Latos, I saw a ton of guys like Tim Lincecum. I
Hmm.
saw like Cliff Lee. I saw just like a whole bunch of names that have had success in the majors, and Brendan Morrow, for example, just
Jeremy
like
Guthrie was on that list.
Guthrie was on that list. Alfredo Simon was on that list. I could just easily see them picking up one or maybe even two of those guys and seeing where that goes. So yeah, another name I saw that was a free agent in the outfield was Austin Jackson. Like I know he's like a pretty high prospect, and kind of he has been a prospect for longer than you think. Like 2008 or nine, like that Curtis Granderson trade. I think he was in that trade,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
yeah, he was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
he
was a
was in
long
that.
time
Yeah,
ago. So he's a free agent, but he's not terrible. He could play outfield. So I don't
yeah.
know.
I
He's an
wouldn't
idea
I wouldn't
too.
mind plugging him in. I wouldn't mind plugging him into right and kind of seeing what he can do. I mean, I think he's got some pop. He's fast. He can get on.
At worst, he could be a good fourth outfielder. So
Yeah, we have
if
our
he,
fourth outfielder in LJ Hose, though. I think, don't we?
that's true. And our fifth outfielder with Avery.
So
So
yeah, yeah. I don't. No, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on a guy like that. I think Dexter Fowler is tied to a draft pick too.
he is. I would love to grab him, but he's like 28 years old. He's like a year or two older than
Yeah.
Hayward. He's obviously not Jason Hayward, but he's not miles behind him either. So
No, no.
and Lee, like
Yeah, I mean
lineup
that.
wise, he could set the table at the top. He gets on base just like Span does. So
Yeah, I think he has a little bit of pop too.
yeah.
I don't know how many homers he hit at Wrigley last year, but I'm sure Camden would fit him quite nice.
Hmm.
No, yeah, like to just kind of circle back, I am still all in on Span. I think he'd be cheap. I think he'd be a good fit, and I don't know. He seems like a Buck guy. I think Buck could get a lot out of him, especially with how I guess his body's kind of breaking down. He's a bit injured a lot.
Right. The
So
the only downside to picking him up is his health, but his it would leave us with a weak arm in right field. But like we
yeah,
can deal with that. Like he can't be perfect everywhere. He's a better fit for our lineup at the top in terms of getting on base and wreaking some havoc on the order and letting Machado bat in a spot that allows him to do even more damage. There's more benefit to that than detriment for him in the field by far. And so
yeah, I would take his upside in the lineup, even with his weak arm and right. I would have no problem plugging him in there every day. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, like you said, I think baseball kind of slows down for the holidays right around this time. So hopefully something will get going soon. Davis has to get going. I haven't even heard much on Upton or anything before this week. Nothing with Cespedes. So
yeah, I haven't heard a
I guess
word on Upton.
everything's real slow. So
I think people thought that Davis was going to set the market, and then the market was the Orioles, and that was it. And they didn't like what they got, so the whole market is just waiting. So something's got to give eventually. We'll see.
I ex- exactly, yeah. So I mean, I know we're less than 100 days till opening day.
Holy shit.
I think we may be under 50 to pitchers and catchers reporting. So
That's awesome. That's sweet.
I feel like we'll blink and pitchers and catchers will be here, and then it'll be opening day. So I don't know.
Awesome.
Can't wait. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got anything else on the Orioles or anything else?
Um, O's, I think that's it for the O's.
Yeah. I think that's all that we have for right now, too. Maybe next week we will be back. We'll talk more Caps, talk about the Ravens wrap up. We'll do some Terps basketball, and we may even talk some Redskins football if we can get someone on to as they can't believe I'm saying this, head into their playoff game
Not only head into
against.
their playoff game, but head into a week 17 where they don't even have to do shit. Like
It's a
they're
mini,
resting their starters.
it's a
Unbelievable.
it's a different meaningless week 17 game for them, which
Yeah.
I don't know, in my mouth
So normal for
it,
them
it
and so
hurt
not
it
at the
hurts
same
just
time.
yeah, it hurts saying that. It's really weird. I don't like it at all. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. Follow me on Twitter at BarstoolRDT. Follow Banks at BarstoolBanks. Make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. You can write how awesome we are and all that good stuff. I think that's all. Enjoy the new year, and we'll see you next week. Later, man.
Later.